Never gone live like this on my show on YouTube. So maybe this is the beginning of something new. All right, everyone. Let's start the show. Let's just take a breath. Share the show with others on Facebook. If you're on, can be on Facebook, on YouTube or Instagram. Share it. Tell people where I'm at. Tell them where you're at. I want to make sure I can see. Anyway, get my little notes. So right now we release, we let go, we trust the process, we let life be life, and understand that technical difficulty is all part of it. Flow it free. I think I'm saying your name right. I don't know. Thank you for being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you wherever you are at this moment in time, wherever you are in the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to yourself. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for giving yourself permission to listen to that inner guidance. And as you listen to the inner guidance, you create a space in your mind, in your heart to be transformed. You can't really plan. Well, you can prepare, you can cultivate your mind, your heart for transformation, but you can't make it happen. Transformation happens behind the logical mind, which is actually, when I think about it, the transformation I went through in the last few days is what inspired today's show. And sometimes when you go through a transformation, stuff happens. So anyway, I am Ade. I am your transformational beingness artist. Welcome to another episode of Being You. It's actually called Ade Presents Being You, the journey back to yourself. Our affirmation on a regular basis, on a daily basis, from moment to moment is, I am present, I am here, I am now. I really want you to take that in for yourself. I am present, I am here, I am now. I am present, I am here, I am now. No matter what is going on in your life, no matter what's happening, be present, be here, now. This is season 3, episode 32. I think I got 2 more episodes. Usually I end my episodes after 33, but I may do an extra one in December, because the first Tuesday, I broadcast live now every first and third Tuesday. And then January 2022, I'll be back to weekly again. The episode 33 will be with Rev D. So I just think it just makes sense to do a third show, to do one last show to end it. I don't know, but I think so. So just watch this space. If we're not friends, if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, this is a good time to do it so you get notification. When you click it, you know you get the bell. You get the bell that says all or something else or none. Click all and thank me later. Okay? Let me see if I can see people in chat. Okay, if anyone comes in YouTube, I can see them. Now, I want to ask a request. If anybody is willing, you don't have to. You could actually, no, stay doing what you're doing. If people need to find this show, they'll find it. You just keep doing what you're doing, okay? Today's Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. Being You, the podcast. Ade Presents Being You, the podcast. It is a journey back to yourself, and it's also an invitation for you to check in with yourself, to see, to ask, how do you see yourself? Like, really, how do you see yourself? How do you see the world? How do you see yourself in the world? And how do you see the world in you? Being You is about an internal journey. And I think I'm going to share some things that I went through in the last few days that really it's transformed me in such a deeper way. And somehow it feels a little bit like, yeah, I'm used to this transformation. Because spiritual growth and transformation is not necessarily anything new. When you are transformed, when you are made new, when you catch a new insight, a new thought, what actually happens is you fall into the new that you've always been. You're always new. That newness, what we're calling new, is just the true you, your true identity, is who you really are. So you're discovering more of who you are. You're experiencing, like, oh my God, I've been thinking a different way. So I'm happy to share that with you. Well, we're not on Facebook, so I won't remind you to go on Being You podcast page on Facebook. But what I do want to tell you is, so this Saturday, it's 9:30 a.m. for those of us in UK. If you're in Europe, it's 10:30 a.m. If you're in India, it's 3 o'clock. If you're in Australia, that is 8 p.m. 3 o'clock p.m. in India, 8 p.m. in Australia. Now, if you're in Atlanta or in America, the East Coast, that's 4:30 a.m., which is early for most people. But if you are in the Pacific area, that's 1 a.m. A friend of mine, Meg McLeod, and we are leading a gathering called Interplaying with the Shadow. As a shadow worker, I love playing with the shadow. I love supporting people with playing with their shadow. I love helping people navigate, see things that they've missed, or even facing the things that they're running from. So I'm really excited about this. So Interplay, we call it Interplaying with the Shadow. And what we're doing, we're going to use Interplay tools. If you want to find out more about Interplay, go to interplay.org, interplay.org. So we're going to use embodiment tools like stillness, breathing, storytelling, sound, to have an embodied experience with ourselves as we play with the shadow. We run from the shadow. We're afraid of it. How does the shadow show up? It shows up as the things that you don't like. It shows up as somebody else reflecting something about them that triggers you, and you can't stand them. I have somebody in my family that triggers the out of me. I said it out loud yesterday, and I remember yesterday when I said it out loud, the way I said it anyway, I'm like, oh, I got to clean that up. Really, I knew that he pisses the out of me, but when I said it out loud, it's like I got to clean that up. And every time this person show up, they open their mouth for the most part. I'm like, yeah, what? In my head, I'm like, oh, please shut up, be quiet, for real, for real. It's a close family member. And the question that I need to ask myself as I play with the shadow, what is it about this person that I can't be with? Or what they're reflecting for me? What is it about them that I can't be with? What are they reflecting for me that I can't be with? What do I need to look at? Because if it wasn't in me, if it wasn't here, I won't be triggered by it. If it's not in you, you are never triggered by somebody else's actions, behavior. If you say, well, I'm not like that, get it? I get you. But what I can say is there is something in you that recognizes that thing, that behavior, that way of being. That's why you're triggered. It triggers something in you. It's squeezing something. It's not like it's just them. It's because no. This is about transformation. This is about self-awareness. This is about waking the fuck up. We're living in a time where life is showing us to look at our shadow selves. Anyway, if you want to register, if you want to join us, go to bit.ly/play with shadow. Play with shadow. bit.ly/play with shadow. That will take you there. You get all the informations, and the shadow is never anything to be afraid of. It makes us uncomfortable. It's scary sometimes because the interpretation we give it. But When you do, when you're willing to face it, you gain more of yourself. You gain you. And you'll be glad you did. Now, I got another special announcement. This announcement is going to be a teaching. What do they call it? A teaching. Actually, before I do that announcement, let me say this. Marianne, I think you're still there because you said today's your birthday. I want to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, my dear sister. May life continue to inspire the very best in you. May you continue to grow and expand and be so much more. And may this day represent a new beginning for you, a new way of seeing yourself, a new way of showing up with yourself, a new way of showing up in relationships. And for those of you on YouTube and you're wondering, why is it looking up? Because I'm on Instagram and my phone is right up there. Okay, so I'm not ignoring you. Not ignoring you. So this special announcement, I need to take my time to share it because it's also a teaching moment. I want to announce that my younger sister, my beloved sister, I call her Deumi. Well, we call her Deumi. But you know why I'm saying that in a minute. She published 2 books this past Thursday. And you can find it on Amazon, amazon.com if you're in America or everywhere else, or amazon.co.uk if you're in the UK. The first book is called In the Mist. In the midst of it all? In the mist. Not of it all, but in the mist. I was going to share that link, but I can't share it now because I'm not on StreamYard. And the second book is called Lost Voice in a Foreign Land. Lost Voice in a Foreign Land. Now, what's the teaching around this? The teaching is my sister's never seen herself. Let me tell you, because I'm going to forget if I don't do it now. To find it, there's other books like In the Mist that you'll find. Let me give you her name. Her name is Adewumi Anifowoshe. Now, don't rush. I know you can spell my last name, but slow down. So Adewumi is Adewumi. Adewumi. Anifowoshe, that's Anifowoshe. Anifowoshe. She's my sister, and we spell our last name differently. There's a long story about that I can't get into right now. And yes, she has similar first name, Ade. It just means the story was until my dad had a sort of like, but I think my dad was just doing what he does best. African names tell a story of your lineage. It lets you know where your ancestors were from, what they were doing, what they did, how they showed up. So family that has a name like Ade means crown. It indicates there was royalty in your family. I'll leave it there. There's so much more I can say because I'm not talking about names. I want to talk about this book and the teaching thing about my sister releasing these books, Christian novels, as she calls it, during the pandemic this past year, while doing her spiritual practice, she received that she was supposed to write a book, and that she's not just supposed to, she's going to write a book. She said God gave her the title and God gave her everything to write. It's foreign to her. She never saw herself as an author. It never crossed her mind. When she told me, I was like, awesome. She started writing the book. Halfway through the first book, In the Mist, she said God gave her another book, Lost Voice in a Foreign Land. And she's like, wait a minute. I don't write. I'm still following guidance on the first book. I haven't even finished, nowhere near the end. You give me another one? She's obedient. She went ahead and wrote. So she took the time where the universe, where God, where the divine, however you want to call it, spirit, your higher self, love, life, Mama, Baba, whatever, Buddha, Jesus the Christ. It doesn't matter what you call God because God ain't tripping. Can you imagine having a God that said, I can't believe they're calling me that. If your God does that, you need another God. That's right. I said it. If your God is petty, you need another God. I digress. She went ahead and wrote and just followed guidance. She published the book, short version. She published the book this past Thursday. Let me get my copy. I want to show it to you. And so this is what you're looking for when you go to support my sister as a way of supporting me, my sister. But let's just be your guide. The light is in the mist. 2 thick books. Well, the front is a little bit on the big side, so she's going to update it. Now, here's a teaching for me and everyone else, really. She published the book, and those of you who've been following me for a long time know that I've been talking about publishing books. I have a memoir that I'm writing, and I'm very clear that the memoir needs some time. But there's another book that I've written for such a long time. I've been talking about publishing for God knows how long. I don't know, 5 years. Here's my sister, received the message to write a book last year. Within the year, published a book. I went through my shit. I had to really, really use my truth. And when I say use my truth, it's to ask deeper questions. Because one, I was comparing myself to her. I was like, I've been writing a book. How come I haven't done it? You this, you that. I had all the stories going on. Speaking of addiction, I was addicted to criticizing myself. So I had to eventually pull myself back, talking to some people that I trust and share. Talking to my woman who was able to give me a perspective. It's like everybody has their own time. Everybody has their own time. She would never consider herself an author. Even now, she's still like, I guess I am an author. So if you want to support her, it's two novels. One is called In the Mist, and the other one is Lost Voice in a Foreign Land. And if there's something that you've been nudged to do, pushed to do, you've never done it before, I'm telling you, say yes. Say yes and move forward. Say yes and move forward. You will be given everything you need. She didn't have an editor like I did. She didn't have a book coach like I did. She was learning some things, talking to some people. She didn't know anything about designing the graphic. She talked to a friend who talked to another friend who did something else. She ended up having this. It was such a demonstration of when we say yes to the guidance of the divine. Facebook.com, no, Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk, depending on where you are in the world. So that was an announcement with a teaching moment, and we're going to talk about this thing called addiction. But even in that, if that's all you got out of this show, I still think it works for you. It's like, what are you addicted to? I don't have what it takes. I don't have the money. I don't have that. But who would you be without that? Who would you be without your complaints? Who would you be without what you think you don't have, what you wish you had? I'm jumping into the show already, but I'm just going to tell you real quick. If you want to start your own podcast or have one already and looking for a podcast host, I invite you to go to libsyn.com, libsyn, libsyn.com. Check out what they have. They have a lot. I'm not going to go into it today. If you sign up with them using my promo code, which is ADE, you will get the month free. Well, you'll get the month free. Okay. You're guaranteed to get 1 month free. That's guaranteed no matter what. However, if you sign up, let's say you sign up today, the 16th, you get the whole of November free and then the whole of December. My suggestion is if you do decide to sign up with them because you're looking for a hosting site and they meet your needs and requirement, sign up on the 2nd of the month. Okay? Don't sign up on the 1st. If you do, you probably get 1 hour or 2 hours or something free and then December free. But if you sign up on the 2nd, let's say you sign up on the 2nd of December, you get the whole of December free and the whole of January. Make sure you use my promo code ADE Or if you know somebody who has a podcast, somebody who wants to start a podcast, you can give it to them too, just because you listened. ADE is the promo code. Every Wednesday, join Ricky Bias and myself for soulful songs and soulful conversations. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time. To find out, to listen, to watch, you can find Ricky's platform on Facebook, but it's easy to just stay on YouTube, youtube.com/Ricky Bias. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 2 a.m. on a Thursday morning in the UK. Today's topic is, who would you be without your addictions? Answer the question. Let me hear what you have to say. Who would you be? Who would you be? Who would you be without your addictions? Or maybe you're going to tell me, I don't have an addiction. Tell me, maybe you don't have an addiction. Maybe that's true. I don't know, but I doubt it. I'm going to tell you, you do. If you're alive, you're addicted to something. And I'm going to go through some lists. I'm going to let you know that you're addicted to something. Just making sure that everything is fine over here. Let's look at addiction, right? I looked it up today on Google, just in preparation for the show. Not that I don't know what it is, but just to see what the universal definition is about addiction. Addiction is said the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. The fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. What does it mean to be addicted? Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without incurring adverse effects. Physically and mentally, I would even say emotionally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without incurring adverse effect. I'm adding emotionally because the definition on dictionary.com is very limited. It's very limited, but because it's only talking about substance abuse, alcohol, and drugs, right? I don't know why that's the approach that we take in life, that we think substance abuse, being addicted to alcohol and drugs is the worst thing that could ever happen. Certainly, it's the most visible. We know about it. We know about 12 steps. We know family members who are drunk, always drunk, can't stay dry, like they say, always drunk, people using drugs, all sorts of drugs, wanting to make it stronger and stronger and stronger so they can have a higher buzz, high. I don't know. I've never used drugs. I've smoked marijuana before. I don't know if I call it smoke because I was like, I don't feel nothing. Take another one. I don't feel nothing. Nothing, don't do nothing for me. Somebody said to me, well, maybe you didn't have a good one. Okay, whatever. I don't know. What I know is it didn't do nothing for me. I don't smoke cigarette. I don't have a need. I don't even know if I want to say I don't have a need. It was just not something that I do. That's the best way to put it. Because sometimes people do things that they end up abusing. Now, let me not go ahead of myself. I'm just going to say I don't have a need to smoke cigarette. It's like, sometimes people don't do it because they had a need. They did it because of habit. They saw people do it. Their family, their parents did it, and they did it. So it was not a need. It was something that you do. My father doesn't smoke. My mom never smoked. My father doesn't drink alcohol. Being a Muslim, I don't drink. It may have an influence on me. I don't know. I've tasted alcohol. I've drank wine before, but I can almost count how many times I've drank wine, but I'm still open to drinking it if I feel like I want to. It's not a big deal. But there are times when we abuse things. So I'm not going to focus too much on the substance abuse because that's very common. That's a cop out for most of us. Like, I'm not a, nah, I don't do drugs. I don't do alcohol. But this is a deeper question. This is a deeper inquiry to ask yourself, what are you addicted to? You know, what is something, one, that you keep doing that you can't stop doing, or the idea of stop doing it scares the mess out of you. It shows up in the most subtle ways. It shows up in ways that you're thinking, no, that's not an addiction. That's just no. If you're doing it, just track. So let me tell you, I said earlier that this show is inspired by an experience I went through in the past few days, right? It actually wasn't the past few days. As I often say, in the beginning. You say, in the beginning, and the Bible talks about in the beginning. There is no beginning. There is a beginning, but just because you say it's in the beginning doesn't mean there wasn't anything happening before then. The in the beginning is just based on this moment, like right now. In the beginning, this beginning moment, I'm about to tell you about my story. If you joined me 30 minutes ago, you were at the beginning of that 30 minutes ago. One of the things that I struggled with is money. It comes, it goes, it comes. Well, actually, it seems like it. Well, it comes and goes. It comes and goes. But it has been challenging to have more coming than was going out. And I've often struggled with it. And on top of that, my first name and my last name have something they translate to mean wealth and then around money. So Ademola, Ade means crown, as I shared earlier. Ola means wealth. Ademola is kind of like, you can say wealthy crown or wealthy king. Ani Fowoshe, my last name, Ani Fowoshe, basically translates to one with money and knows what to do with it. But guess what I struggled with for most of my adult life? Money, having more of it come in. I have felt shame. I have felt guilt around it. I've struggled with it. I've joined multi-level marketing. I have joined Bitcoin, and not Bitcoin because I can't afford Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency. I have done all kinds of things, and it's not a judgment on any of those things that I just mentioned. But what was really happening was there was a belief. Something, and I might go deeper, I don't know, with that belief, but something in me, a belief that I held so true that got in the way of allowing money through my work, through what I do, to come easily and effortlessly. I believe that in order to make money, it's got to be a struggle. I've got to work hard. And the money that I make is based on what I do. So if I'm not doing anything, if I'm not working, then I can't make money. Then I won't make money. So I went through many years being self-employed for a long time. Don't even think of a day off. Like, what's a day off? I just don't even think about it. I just keep working every day. I'm always doing something. Anyway, fast forward to Sunday. This past Sunday, I found myself being so frustrated. Oh, I was so frustrated. I was frustrated with the financial struggles. I was frustrated with the way life was looking and unfolding and what was happening in my life that day and the things I was looking at, where I was. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I was mad. Thankfully, I had someone I can talk to about it. So I picked up my WhatsApp and sent a voice note to my woman and just said, I'm frustrated. I am frustrated. And I just went on and on and on. And she responded back and gave me some perspective. But I knew that it was time to have a different answer, a different way of living. I just knew. I didn't know what the answer was going to be. Now, park that to the side. For a while now, There's a teacher, a priest called Father Richard Rohr. His last name is spelled Rohr. Father Richard Rohr. If you don't know about him, check him out. If you don't get his daily meditation, subscribe for it. He is the founder of Center for Action and Contemplation. He brings the Christian perspective, the Buddhist perspective, the spiritual perspective, the universal perspective, however you want to put it. He brings it all together and connects with what makes us human. He speaks to the heart. He speaks from the heart. And he talks about taking action. That it's pointless to take action without contemplation. And it's pointless to just stay contemplating and not take action. He talks about justice, how we incorporate spiritual truth into justice for just society, how we incorporate it in our relationships, how we incorporate it in our community, in our circles. Not just this way, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious, or I can only talk to people of like-minded. Yeah, that's fine when we just choosing people of like-minded folks that we want to be with. But the growth sometimes is having a conversation, being with people that are not like-minded. So in the last few days, I've watched some of his videos. I just go in there and type his name. And sometime last week, one of the videos I watched was him talking about spirituality and addiction. Spirituality and addiction. I just love the way he breaks it down. Now, I've often drawn parallel between, the things that we do when the egoic mind runs away with its own imagination and it takes us with it. And we're struggling to find out if we're coming or going. And so when I listen to him, even where he teaches from, he's in the middle. I believe that's what my teaching is about. It's like groundedness. How do we practicalize the spiritual truth? How do we make it real rather than just a concept where we go, it's deep. Oh, that's deep. Oh, wow. The ahs that you have, the aha moments and the wow, you must apply it so you can see the result of it. When I say you must, not because I'm telling you to do that, but when you catch an aha moment, that is you being so open to God, to the divine, to the universe, to spirit, to your higher self, whatever name you want to call it. You were so open to it that you caught a new insight, a new understanding. And if you don't put it into action, if you don't take action with the aha, you will forget it sooner or later. It's like a dream. If you dream and you wake up and it's present and you say, I'll write it later, or you want to keep it, I'm going to, bottom line is, if you want to remember that dream, it's best to write it down. Some people may have other ways. For me, it's to write it down. When I write it down, I never forget. Or it's me talking to somebody about it. Or it's me recording a voice note to somebody who I know can understand it. If you don't recall it in your conscious state, it's easy for it to just revert back to your subconscious state. So when you have an aha moment, take action, do something, speak it. Sometimes it's good to tell other people about it, but sometimes that's just plain small. We're still talking about addiction. Stay with me. But actually putting action behind an aha moment is transformative. It would help you see yourself differently. I'm telling you what I know. So, speaking of action aha moment. So Father Richard Rohr, in this week's daily meditation, is about spirituality and addiction. It just turns out that it happened to be that. Now, I've been watching this video a few days ago. And as he was kind of making it clear that we all have some kind of addictions. Yes, we do. There's something that we're addicted to. The definition I read earlier that said, where is it? Addicted. Well, does that mean? Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without incurring adverse effects. I said the new definition really should be physically, mentally, and emotionally dependent on a particular. It's not just substance. So this week, Father Richard Rohr, Google him. He's founder of Center for Action and Contemplation. Your life will be changed. I promise you. I keep making all these promises because I can back it up. So I was reading what he wrote, his meditation on Monday. And he titled it Stinking hit me. I get it. I understood it. But as I was reading it, this thing rose up in me to financial struggles. I've been addicted to financial struggles, but I never would have put it that way. I didn't know. Now, behind every addiction, there's something else underneath that. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Sorry about that. Share yours. Don't hide. I'm out of the closet. Don't leave me out here naked. I don't care. I really don't. Because I know in my nakedness is for my own liberation. Our nakedness is for our own liberation. And we will not rest. It will be harder to feel fulfilled if we don't do everything in our power to strip, to take off the mask, to show up and be naked. Your freedom, your joy, your excitement, your abundance, your all the things that you're praying for, it's in your nakedness. Now, it's easy to think, oh, physical nakedness? Well, maybe going to a nude beach. That could help you to release all the inhibitions that you have about your body. Maybe. But there are ways to be naked. The thing about nakedness, we have so much judgment about nakedness that it shows up in our spiritual way of being. We judge being naked as a society. I think I shared this in one of my lives I did last week. Like when someone is naked walking down the street, they get charged for indecent exposure. If someone is coming to the door, knocking on your bedroom, and they know you're in there, knock on the door. Doop, doop, doop. Who is it? It's Ade. Can I come in? Are you decent? And when they ask you, are you decent? What are they saying? Do you have clothes on? They want to know that you're not naked. So when you have clothes on, you're decent. But when you don't, you're indecent. What does that say? When you came to this planet, when you came here, you were naked. Naked. And the Bible talks about being naked and unashamed. That's the healing. That's the work. That's probably the answer that you may be looking for. Who would you be without your addictions? Who would you be without your addictions? Would you be naked and unashamed? If you release the addiction if you release the addiction, knowing that something else got you, then even if you feel shame, you could still stand. So while reading Father Richard's daily meditation yesterday, it just rose up. I am addicted to finance. Not I am anymore because I'm not claiming it for now. Hey, Beverly, how are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm not claiming it for this moment anymore. There's more to this story, but I'm trying to give you the shortest version. And it turned out that I was meeting with a friend who's a coach, who I really love her work. I love where she's coming from. She's grounded, she's rooted, she's spiritual, she's expansive. Just love how she's showing up in the world. We're scheduled to meet yesterday about something completely different, but around money, around my business. But before we met, that's when I had that aha moment about me being addicted to financial suffering. I'm going to give you a list of some things. For those of you like, nah, I'm not. I used to be addicted to sugar, but I'm not anymore. But after making the confession, because one of the things if you want to heal, you must first be able to admit it to yourself. You've got to tell the truth. Once you become aware, you got to be able to admit it, that it is so. You may not like it. You may feel guilt. You may feel shame. You might feel less than, but you got to be able to admit it. If you don't, if you can't heal it. You won't heal it. You won't heal it. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. You can't heal what you don't feel. And the reason it's an issue is because you didn't want to feel it. You keep pushing it away. You keep sexing it away. You keep drugging it away. But it's coming to be released. It's an emotion, energy in motion. It's trying to get the hell out. I'm suffocated in this. Let me out. It's feeling your power, your presence. Like, whoo, there's a vibration. There's a frequency inside this person. And this feeling like I'm not enough. This me, the emotion, as not enough. It's like, I can't take it. It's too hot. Let me out. So when it rises up, we say, oh, I just I have a low self-esteem about myself. I shouldn't be feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? We get on YouTube, we get on social media, we do whatever we need to do. We call somebody saying, I'm really not getting this right. I'm really struggling. And we tell the story over and over and over and over and over. And the emotion is like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to leave. I am energy in motion. I am in motion. I'm trying to go. And when you say, I don't have an emotion, I don't have nothing, I don't struggle. I've learned, maybe. But if you have to say it the way I'm doing it, like really have an attitude about it, you haven't even started yet. So anyway, I had this appointment that I booked just to talk about divine order. I had the appointment booked with a friend of mine. She's a coach. I love her work. I knew that what we need to be talking about is my discovery, my realization that I'm addicted to financial struggle. And when you have an addiction, there's always a payoff. There's something that you're getting out of it that makes you feel good. Ooh, I'm about to tell my own business here. Ooh, did I say that out loud? No, forget what I just said because I don't have to speak to it. No, I'm going to tell it. But there's always a payoff. Whether you're complaining about your supervisor, you complain about it, the payoff is you get people listening to you. Like, oh, join in with you. It's an addiction and it's a payoff that somehow I'm being validated. But what is it costing you? I'm going ahead of myself. Anyway, I had a conversation and I asked my friend and I said, I need your help. I need your help. And when I spoke those words, it was like, I don't know if anybody's been to a country or lived in a country, whether you're in America, there's some places where they have wells. If you've gone to a place where they have wells where you have the bucket and you roll it, the bucket goes down, scoops the water, and you roll it and roll it and roll it, and it comes up. I've seen it definitely seen it in Nigeria. I don't know if I have actually personally seen it, but I've seen videos, I think. But anyway, Google what a well is, go on YouTube and look it up. When I was telling her what I needed, because I just come to that new awareness that I was addicted to financial struggle, I said to her, I need your help. I didn't know if she was going to say yes or not, but I just told her I need your help. I said, I have discovered this morning. This is what I said. I'm no longer owning it or claiming it anymore. But this is what I said yesterday. So we're back in yesterday in the mind. I have discovered. And as I was saying it, it was like pulling up that bucket from the well. The well is dark. It's a dark place. And rolling it up and rolling up. I have discovered. It wasn't moving this fast, actually. It was like that I had to breathe, that I'm addicted. Take a breath, roll to financial struggle. And when I said it, tears started to come out. I felt vulnerable. I felt exposed. I felt chills. I felt shame. I felt guilt. Because this is somebody who came to my workshop and talked about how she really appreciated the workshop and how impactful it was. And something that I said, really, that different things that I said, of course, but there was one particular thing that I said that she said it just changed her and she's going to use it and how she appreciates it. So she's talked real, like, great feedback. So in my own mind, me confessing my addiction to her, my ego mind was like, oh, don't do it. She's going to think you ain't shit. Don't do it. She ain't going to think high of you anymore. Don't do it. But I knew I was ready to die to that lie. I was ready to die. So let's talk about some addictions. And we went through a process. I told her I needed to support me. We're coaching now. And she took me through some processes and even the questions that she asked. And I got to say something about that. But here's some of the addictions that you may be experiencing. And I'm not even going to say maybe somebody that you know. No, this ain't about anybody else. It's about you. Sometimes we say that it's like, well, it may not be you, but somebody you know. We get too nice sometimes. This spiritual work ain't pretty. It's messy. We got to tell the truth. And in telling the truth, we can come back to the middle. So, are you addicted to being judgmental? Judging others because you think you're right, and judging yourself. The truth is, if you're a regular judger of other people, you're certainly judging yourself. How you judge other people, how you treat other people is a direct reflection of how you treat yourself. It's a direct reflection of how you treat yourself. There is no, prove me wrong. You can't. I'm telling you, you can't prove me wrong. I don't care what you tell me. Because you are the thinker thinking the thought that brings about the thing. You are the one seeing somebody, the way you're seeing them and how they're showing up and then judging it. So when you see something similar about yourself, it is by default you're going to judge yourself. In fact, the reason you're judging them is because that's how you judge you. And you know that if you were doing exactly that same thing, the same thing you're saying about them is what you say about yourself. Then you might even end up in feeling shame, guilt, like, oh my God. You may not even get to I do that. You may want to deny it. Addictions. Addicted to exposing what is wrong. I just tell it like it is. I just tell the truth. I'm just telling the truth. But you're so committed to exposing other people, whether you call yourself an investigative journalist or not. Intent matters. I know that. But I'm talking about without all these labels, like in your own heart. Are you always looking to see what people are doing wrong? Are you always looking to see why somebody is not being successful, why they're struggling, why they have health issues? It's because they're not vegan. It's because they're not vegetarian. They keep eating all that meat. They keep eating pork. They keep doing milk. They keep blah, 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 blah. Addiction. Who would you be without that? Who would you be without your judgment of people who got vaccinated? Who would you be without your judgment of people who never got vaccinated? Who would you be when you can just let people be whoever the flip they want to be? There is a virus in the world. And this virus, it's not corona. Corona is just like a side chick. It's a virus of demonizing one another. And we allow government to recruit us to do their bidding sometimes. We politicize, say it slowly. We politicize things that's not that deep. You allow yourself to buy into the fear. Are you addicted to fear that you have to be careful? The reason people are dying is because you're not vaccinated. Well, the reason the world is going to hell in handbaskets is because you could do everything that the government says. What is your addiction? Are you constantly struggling with a particular thing, a particular behavioral pattern, an attitude? You're struggling with money. You're struggling with sugar. You're addicted to sugar, food, habitual patterns, whatever it is. Are you constantly just like, oh, I'm really trying? It's an addiction. Who would you be without that? Spiritual people, come closer. Come closer. Are you addicted to fixing yourself? Always looking for something to fix. Always looking for something to heal. always looking for something to affirm away, always looking for something to do a prayer treatment about. Because, if I can just get this out, if I could just stop doing this, if I stop doing that, you're constantly looking and affirming and constantly, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, I need to fix my relationship, I need to fix my finances, I need to fix this, fix. Yana, fix my life. Oh, I wish I could write to Yana Van Zandt. I wish I could speak to Yana. I wish I had opportunities to fix because my life needs fixing. Nothing about you needs fixing. You're just addicted to the bullshit that it does need fixing. Nothing about you. You. You may be addicted to making mistakes. I don't know. I just make mistakes. Oh, I don't remember. Maybe denying, avoiding, claiming that that's just the way I am. That's your way of getting out of things, life, when life is calling you to be more. I don't have what it takes. Like an example, my sister, I'm not an author. I'm not a creative. I don't have the money. I don't have that. Are you addicted to what you don't have and want the world to know about it? And if you are really committed to being free, if you're willing to experience what you know to be true, like the affirmations, if you're willing to experience the power, the presence of the divine, of God, of Buddha or Jesus, like I said, doesn't matter what you call it, life, source energy. You got to confess your sins. Sins is your addiction. Father Richard Rohr talks about in the modern day, addiction is really what Christianity calls sin. And there's another part in his daily meditation, which I love. We are possessed by these things that we're addicted to. But the healing is allowing ourselves to be repossessed by love, by a larger force, by something bigger, by something greater. I can tell you that in acknowledging that I was addicted to financial struggle, that I've healed that belief. And I now I don't have to do anything, but they will say that, have to keep taking actions that represents what I now know to be true about money, about wealth, about abundance and prosperity. I have to live and walk as that. And I've had many opportunities to do that in the past 24 hours. I've had to have a conversation today, like with an accountant, was saying, I got to do something else. Like, I can't do that right now. I don't have 50% to give you. I only have this amount that I gave you. Can you support me? Because I need to get my taxes in. And they're already saying, the tax people are like, but I knew I needed to talk to her. She thought about it. She was quiet. I knew she was there, so I didn't even ask, are you there? She said, let me get back to you. She needs to talk to somebody else. I know there's an answer. Now, what gave me the courage, if you want to call it that, the faith, the power, I feel like there's another word, the authority to move forward and have that conversation, is because when I acknowledged what I was addicted to and examine what that felt like, I was able to replace it with something else. When you let go of your addiction and you don't replace it with something else, you're going to go back to what you used to do. Now, you can let go of addiction of being an alcoholic. Let's keep it simple. And you can replace that with sex. You can replace it with food. You can replace it with being a procrastinator. I just procrastinate. That's just me, right? But when I say replace, I'm talking about replacing it with spiritual truth, what is true about you. I'm going to tell you what I replace shame with. And it may not sound big. It may not sound like it's all that, but it is. And I know that it was a healing happened in that instant. Healing happens in an instant. Just change of mind, just a little shift, a little tweak, just a little tweak, attunement. So my friend, my coach, asked me, what is the opposite of shame? And when she asked me what the opposite of shame was, I knew that I didn't want to give a dictionary definition. I wanted to know, I didn't want to give a dictionary definition of the opposite of shame. I needed whatever it was to rise up. Like I wanted to hear what the true me has to say about this question. So I closed my eyes just as I am right now and asked, what is the opposite of shame? And what I heard was identity. Identity. When I heard it, it's not like intellectual knowing, but I knew what that meant. And the more I spoke, the more she asked me questions, the clearer it became. The opposite to shame, to the addiction, was for me to remember my identity. Who are you? How do I see myself? How do I see myself in the world? How do I see the world in me? How do I see the world? And as I kept talking, what I realized was the invitation was being invited, being welcomed to tap into what I know is true about me. The beautiful thing is, because God wastes nothing and God will always lead you back to itself as you. This is not a foreign concept. It wasn't an aha moment. I know that the answer is always within. But because of, as I believe it, other stories about my growing up, about feeling displaced, not feeling grounded. It energetically, it was in my body, not being able to ground, to be able to materialize, to take, like, when it comes to doing the work like this, in my coaching sessions, my counseling sessions, I'm not dealing with my own emotions. I'm not dealing with my own issues. I'm an open vessel. I'm a conscious channel. I'm working with people. And I'm able to speak to what they're sharing with me, asking deeper questions. I am able to hear what Spirit has to say. Oftentimes, it's harder to hear for yourself. That's why a coach needs a coach, a doctor needs a doctor, a mechanic needs a mechanic sometimes. Because you get so close, particularly when it comes to the personal spiritual growth. You need somebody else to help see your blind spot. It's a blind spot. You don't see it. So as I kept talking about identity, what I realized is I have been doing a lot of different things of what I wanted my business to look like, what I needed to do for it to flourish and to be sustainable. These different things that I was doing, joining this organization, doing that, reading that book, doing that. All of those, there's nothing wrong with them. But I was doing it, especially around finances, as if the answer is from without. That may be shocking to most of you. Like, what? Really, you? Yes, me. But what I got from that voice, that inspiration, that whatever you want to call it, that the opposite to shame for me in that moment was my identity. What Spirit was telling me is to remember who you are. That finances, attracting it, allowing it, come from where you are. Recognizing, knowing that it's not what you do on the outside, because sometimes you can do some things that is For other people, it's not up to par, but it still generates an income. Because I was dealing what I was dealing with, there were times where I felt like things I did or created is not good enough and won't put it out. Whether it's a book, whether it's an article. So many articles that I've written, like, it's not good enough. Someone else writes better than me. What are you addicted to? Who would you be without your addiction? How would you show up in the world? When you are willing to tell the truth about your addiction, find somebody who can hear you. Find somebody that you know. This is what I do. I'm a shadow worker. I will go in there with you. I will support you. You get to do the work. I'm just your midwife. So if it's me and you're looking for a shadow worker, someone to help you face yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the part that you say, I can't even talk about it. I am your man. LifeCoachAde.com. If it's not me, find somebody. Find a minister, find a teacher, find a friend, find a neighbor, find a whoever, whatever. Be committed to your growth because literally your life depends on it. And here's the thing, you can't hide. You won't get to hide. We're living a time where we can no longer hide. Everything that is happening to us right now is forcing us to look at the things that we've ignored, avoided, denied. It's forcing us to look at how we dance, relate to time, dance and relate with time. How we dance and relate to money, how we dance and relate with one another, how we dance and relate to other people's belief system. The stories that we're carrying. This time that we're in, it's literally feels like it's forcing us to go into that dark, shadowy part of ourselves and look in the dark and face the monster. The monster. What's the monster? Your monster is your addiction. The payoff is often, for me, I talked about payoff earlier. The payoff was, I saw yesterday and still continue to see, when I